And let me explain this too. Again, this has to be separated because there's the conversation of civil unions, which is a government contract, right, between two parties. And it's typically between the same sex party, right? And then there's the act of marriage. There's the consummation of marriage. And that's not what you're addressing. You're talking about if a civil union includes a heterosexual couple or a same-sex couple, they should get the same rights and the same benefits, right? You're asking me if I agree with that.
I'm just a little confused because a lot of people previously in the past, it's different now, the government's involved in marriage, heavily saying that same-sex couples and heterosexual couples have the same rights, but in the past, civil unions weren't even allowed with homosexual couples. It seems like to me you're saying get the government out of marriage, in which case, say a heterosexual couple could say at a church they're married, and then a homosexual couple could say we're married too at their own church, and your church, for example, might not recognize that as a legitimate marriage. So you're saying that in terms of government, there shouldn't be a difference with civil unions that are homosexuals and heterosexual marriages in terms of how the law is, just that you personally are encouraging people that you don't believe in homosexuality. Is that
correct? And I would go as far to say this, because this was a debate that came up a little bit in the State House when I was serving. They say, well, if you're going to have heterosexual couples, then you need to include homosexual couples or same-sex couples in the civil union, right? Equal rights. Well, sure. If you're going to call it a civil union and have for the tax benefit reasons, absolutely. What I'm not for redefining the term marriage. It should not be redefined because it is not a fluid term. It is not to be expanded. And again, that's why I said the same-sex marriage actually doesn't even really technically exist, because when two people of the same sex come together, that's just an act. It's just a sexual act. It's actually not the consummation of marriage. Now, some of you might say, well, what are you getting at? Well, I don't know where you're going with this. That's because biblically, that's what marriage is. They say, oh, well, you're going to the Bible. Well, yes, it's hard to have this conversation without bringing up the Bible. Absolutely, that's the foundation of it all. So, but when you're talking about civil unions, including both same-sex and heterosexual couples, yeah, absolutely, you include them both. Why not include a brother and a sister who want to have tax benefits and whatnot? I mean, that's the way it comes down to it.
Yeah, I think I have an idea.
Yeah.
So if I understand you correctly, the only way marriage works is for the penis to enter the vagina. Is that correct? Nothing else can enter. The penis can't go into anything else. The vagina can't have anything else in it. Is that correct?
Okay, so I'm going to let you know I'm going to avoid using those terms with the young people in the audience.
Did I offend you with those terms? No. I know those kids. No, those are physiologically correct terms. So please use them. I don't like woo-woo and woo-woo. That's stupid.
Okay, well that's fine. You can believe that all you want, but
What do you have, a ding-dong?
No, ma'am, that's kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Hold on. Just relax. It's fine.
No, I'm just.
So I want to know your.
Understand how you can say marriage has to have a penis and vagina involved.
Because it's natural law.
So what about the animal kingdom where they have
Aberrations.
I don't think so.
They are.
Class.
He said marriage is something that's a church institution. Jesus said the man will leave his parents and cleave to his wife. You don't have to agree with that, but that's what people who are called Bible-believing Christians believe. And I think that you should be as tall under that as you expect us to be tall under those.
I'd like to ask a follow-up question on that belief that it sounds to me like what you're getting at is that a civil union should be, a legal institution, and that should be government's role, but marriage should be defined by the church. Is that what you're getting at here?
Yeah.
Which church? Because the Bible, if that says, that's between a man and woman, the Bible is not the religious basis for all religions. Some church may hold a different view of marriage. Are you opposed to that?
That's an excellent question. Absolutely excellent question. Here's my answer. church should be in order in the first place. You got churches that are totally out of order of scripture, and they're not even preaching the right word anyway. So that, again, is a different discussion. That's a much longer discussion, but I'm letting you know that's my personal belief. So yes, if it's given to the churches, if a church down the road recognizes a same-sex couple in their marriage, that's the church. That's what they're going to do. You know, maybe we'll go talk to them and say we disagree with this, but that's what they're going to do as long as it's not involved in the government. Now, if they want to have that similarly recognized, if they say we're married, now we want to have a civil union as well, a contract with the government that allows us the tax benefits, that's also a separate conversation, a separate discussion. It's a separate issue from the marriage itself.
So it sounds to me that all you're fighting for is the right of particular churches to not recognize a same-sex union. Because if a government can recognize a same-sex union and my church down the road can recognize a same-sex union, and your church doesn't want to, is that all you're fighting for? For the ability to say my church doesn't recognize that?
So what I'm talking about is the civil union is the government contract. Does that make sense? We agree on that. The civil union is a government contract. The marriage, right, the certificate of marriage, if you will, should be given separately through the church, right? That's the consummation of man or woman. That's to be recognized. I don't want government defining the term marriage because that muddles things legally. If they're going to be involved in it at all, then just have the term civil union, particularly for the existence of having tax benefits and legal benefits that come with your union of marriage that was recognized by your church.
Can I pose a question?
Yeah.
There is a bill in Congress, right? I actually think it passed the House. I think it's called HCR 5. And if I'm reading the bill, the federal government would basically force churches to have same-sex marriages, even those churches that disagree. Do you support that? Do you support that they should be able to do that?
Someone want to answer that? I saw a thumbs up.
I would say no.
Most people would say no. I would hope most people would say no.
Do what you want.
So are you saying that in terms of places that are having doing adoptions, people that are you saying that what are you saying exactly?
Well, I'm glad you brought up adoption because in Massachusetts, there was a group of Catholic Charities, I think it was called, that had to stop its adoption services because it would not adopt to homosexual couples. So the state shut them down. And that's the heavy hand of government, not doing something that it shouldn't be doing. And they provided a great service for a lot of babies and a lot of parents and couples. And now they're not doing it anymore because of the Massachusetts laws.
All right, we have a question back here.
In Europe right now, we have some friends who live over there. If you get married and you want to have a marriage, you're married in the church, but if you want it recognized by the government, you then have to have also a civil union, and that way you have a contract with the government. Now, I would like to see that happen in the United States too, and I think it would take care of a lot of the issues of property and whatever. The second thing you addressed was the coming together of a man and a woman. It's really the egg and the sperm. Two same-sex can never procreate, and that's what marriage was for procreation. So if you want to have a civil union, that's fine. If you want to live together, that's fine. But it's the definition of marriage.
So if I'm infertile and incapable of having children, should I then not be allowed to marry a man because we can't produce a child?
You can adopt.
You can adopt. I was adopted.
Sure, but if I'm adopted by two women at birth, how is that any different since they couldn't conceive a child, or let's say, I couldn't conceive a child?
Well,
How's that different?
they wouldn't be married, it would be a civil union, because they couldn't come together, two women can't come together and procreate.
Right, but if I'm infertile, I can't come together with any man and create a child. Just as I couldn't produce a child with any woman.
Well, neither could my mother, that's why she went ahead and adopted me. She also adopted her brother.
I fail to see how that's different.
So,
I think the issue is, if you're infertile, should you not be allowed to marry? If marriage is only for procreation.
right.
Some people can reproduce, but they might want to have a heterosexual marriage.
Yeah.
Is that a valid purpose for marriage as well?
Sure. Yeah, you have the freedom to marry whoever you want. I give you an example. My cousin. My cousin does not want to have kids. He married his wife. They don't want to have kids. They're married. You know, great. Happy marriage.
So marriage isn't just about procreation.
Marriage was originally intended, yes, and it is still for that today. But if you don't want to have kids, you don't have to have kids. It's your freedom to do so.
But is that marriage or a civil union?
When you get married,
When you get married but you don't have kids for whatever reason.
sure, you can have kids. You can create the act of consummating the marriage, right, without having kids.
You can. So marriage has a basis other than procreation.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But the point of it biblically was to also be fruitful and multiply and create life, because that was the only original intent behind God's plan for humanity in the first place. But yes, you can absolutely.
So you're saying the purpose of marriage has changed? That's what you're saying right now, is that biblically it was intended for procreation, but now if you don't procreate, that's fine?
Yeah.
Because the purpose has changed?
No, not quite, because people back then they did the sexual act, and they consummated the marriage, and that was totally fine.
Yeah.
So that's happened since the beginning of
Yeah,
time.
and back then they didn't know they were infertile, but now we have more information. We know that you can be incapable of having a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that new information then adds more context to the definition of marriage.
Right. We would call it some house.
The bottom line is that Christians, traditional conservative Christians, believe a marriage is between a male and a female, period, whether they have children or not. And you may not accept that definition, but that's the definition that served our civilization well for thousands of years.
That's good, but then we shouldn't say that marriage is just for procreation.
We didn't say that.
You didn't say that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, about 5 times.
Yeah, you didn't believe.
So here's the deal. I'm going to answer this. Marriage is for the purpose of procreation. That has never changed all throughout human history. The consummation of marriage still exists when one man and one woman come together. If you are infertile and you can't have kids, that doesn't mean that you can't consummate the marriage. You can still do that.
It's just outside of the purpose of marriage? Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
I know you're.
I think we agree that
Yeah.
that marriage can be done either for procreation
Right.
or for just love, or whatever reasons people choose. And without discussing the issue of same-sex marriage, just heterosexual marriage can be either for procreation or just for coupling. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we agree on that.
I believe I understand what both of you were talking about and saying, is the fact that are you outside now of the definition, the biblical definition of marriage because you can't have kids, right? Well, that's also being born into a state of sin as well. It's a broken mankind that we have today, which I believe can be healed through the power of God, and I also believe it can be healed through doctors as well. There are people who have that done. So there's all this that goes across the board, but it does not. To answer your question, yeah, we both agree. We all agree. I think that the procreation of man and woman. But if you can't have kids, okay, well, we can deal with that on a separate basis. That's still marriage, and you're not out of order, if you will, for not being able to have kids. Put it that way.
Or not wanting to have kids?
Right, we're not wanting to have kids. That's exactly right. We're not out of order. That's all.
As long as I have the mic, can I ask my other questions?
Although, let me put in a good word. I love being a dad and a grandfather. So it's challenging, and my youngest is now will be 15 in a week or so, and I just love my children. So I do recommend being a parent.
Crop TV.